One, two, Mullen down 16%. How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Mullen Automotive, which was down 16% on the day. And shout out to all of the people that were sending me messages, giving me thank you, saying, Dre, thank you for telling us to exercise patience. There's no reason to rush into these plays. We ended up seeing a low at 79 cents. You talked about the next support level being at 73. So a lot of people are waiting on the sidelines. I'll give you guys an update in the video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Mullen. Let's see how it performed on the day. So we could see it close at 79 cents, being down 16.02%. On the low, it tested 79 cents, and then on the high, testing 93 cents. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 60.351 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 49.879 million shares. So we did have above average volume on the day, but you can see we dealt with a good amount of selling pressure. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 26.03. So we are in that oversold territory. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And it's clear to see that Mullen is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. So we're continuing to be on a downtrend. We tested a low at 79 cents. Remember, the next area of support that we want to see hold up is around 73 to 74 cents. So there's probably a high likelihood we might end up testing that for tomorrow, especially if we have continued weakness in the market. So again, keep an eye on that level. And if we break through 73 cents, of course, the next area of support we want to see kicking in is around 50 cents. Now, if you're looking for a reversal, you want to see some strength out of the stock, we want to see if it could reclaim the 21-day EMA right here at $1.44. And you know what? That is a lot to ask. I don't see that happening for this week. So as far as where we had the high of the day at 93 cents, I feel if Mullen can get back to $1, it will be interesting. This will be a psychological area. It could witness some selling pressure. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind, especially if you're trying to look at this play as a swing trade. Maybe you took a position when it was in the 80-cent range and so forth. So again, be cognizant of that. But if we have bulls stepping in at that $1 level and we can break out, like I said, keep an eye on that 21-day EMA. But for the most part, it is continuing to look bearish, and the stock just may continue to downtrend as well. But do know we are in oversold conditions, so a turnaround, so maybe some more buying coming into the tech sector, or maybe a catalyst can help propel Mullen going forward. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Mullen. As we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings, we have U.S. Bancorp that purchased 1,000 shares, and we have JP Morgan Chase & Co. that purchased 15,422 shares. And for the 10th, we have Aspire Private Capital LLC. We have zeros here. And then we have TCWP LLC that purchased 13,000 shares, and Mercer Global Advisors Inc. that purchased 14,677 shares. So again, we see institutions loading up. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, The off-exchange short volume ratio is at 23.02%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 7.87 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 6.6 million, updated 6 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow-free rate being at 3.09%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 9th, it was at 23.70, and then for the close of the 10th, being at 23.02. So what does this show us? Along with the short interest percentage of the float being at 16.78%, Mullen does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution.
Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Mullen. So we see here on the inflows at 15.22 million, and then on the outflows at 14.36 million. So we had an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large it was 2.52 million, on the medium it was 9.37 million, and then on the small it was 3.33 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you could see on the large it was 2.39 million, on the medium it was 8.95 million, and then on the small it was 3.02 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for today, May the 11th, we had an inflow of just over 135,000. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then for the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 21.39%. No surprises. We know that Mullen is a volatile stock. But what was clear though, we did see that retail was loading up on shares when it was dipping, especially when Mullen is trading below $1. So considering the volatility that we had inside of these markets today and Mullen being down by 16%, we have to continue to keep an eye on it. And I'll be talking about some further details inside of the final thoughts, so let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for Mullen, when it comes to the price action, we ended up testing support at 79 cents. So we know the next level to see hold is around 73 cents. And if that doesn't hold, then we could pull back into the 50-cent range. So again, I know many people want to load up on shares and Mullen gets to these particular levels, so continue to exercise patience if that is a part of your strategy. So if you want to see a move to the upside, of course it needs to get back to the 21-day EMA, which is at $1.44. But I feel if Mullen can close around $1 or higher by the end of the week, that wouldn't be too bad either. But I myself personally, I'm just not seeing it. As long as we have the volatility inside of these markets, I could see $1 being a strong resistance level. But if we see bulls stepping in at $1, that's why I was saying keep an eye on that 21-day EMA. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we could see that institutions have been loading up on shares. And then taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. So that's why I say keep a very close eye on this play. We did have above average volume, but of course most of that was selling pressure. A lot of people not trying to hold this play. It is a speculative play, but if we end up having a catalyst and so forth, I feel that could definitely get the stock moving in a direction where you want it to go. But if you are a bag holder, or maybe you might be an investor, again, you should be confident enough to load up on the dips. If you're not confident enough, then I highly suggest you start looking at other plays inside of the market instead of just sitting down and being miserable. I get a lot of messages about that saying, Dre, hey, I bought into Mullen at a very high price. What should I do? Of course, I can't give you guys financial advice, but one thing that I want to make sure that you know is that you do not make it happen again. Learn from your mistakes. And if you are down inside of the play, if I was in your position, again, this is not financial advice, I'll be taking a look at how much of my portfolio is actually allocated to the play. And if I notice that a lot of my portfolio is into the play, then I'll start trimming off my position and moving that money somewhere else. Again, not financial advice. I'm just telling you guys what I would do if I was in your position and a large amount of my portfolio was all in one stock. And that's always something that I do not recommend that anyone do. But if you are a trader, of course things are going to be different for you. But you need to have a good idea of risk management. If you're a trader, you should not be bag holding whatsoever. You should be having a stop loss in place. You should have a good idea of what your entry is going to be and as well as your exit. And if you don't have a strategy and you're calling yourself a trader, I think you should start looking at finding some ways to make sure you can improve on your skills overall. And if that is the case, I highly suggest you join us inside of the Discord. There have been many traders that have been coming in there and we have been continuing to crush it. crush it during this bear market. You can find the link down inside the description. We're happy to have you in the family. Plus, on top of that, we do daily live streams inside of the Discord before the market opens. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how Mullen performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.